Welcome to the Hustler's Handbook podcast. I'm Easton. In this show, we explore the stories of relentless go-getters, uncovering the secrets behind their success. We talk life, work, and everything in between. The highs, the lows, and the grit it takes to keep pushing forward. Tune in and get inspired right here on the Hustler's Handbook podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Hustler's Handbook podcast. I'm your host, Easton Johnson. Today's guest is Chantz Staden, the CEO of Agile Tech Recruiting, a 100% virtual and remote recruiting agency dedicated to help tech companies land the top embedded software developers. At 36 years old, Chantz is a solo entrepreneur, married with 4 children, and brings a wealth of experience and passion to his work. Born in California and a former running back for Washington State University, his journey is both inspiring and impactful. Welcome to the show, Chantz.
Hey, Easton, thanks for having me, man. And thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, most definitely. So can you just share a little bit about your journey playing football at Washington State and then starting your own company and becoming the CEO of Agile Tech Recruiting?
Yeah. Well, regarding football, man, that feels like so long ago, but, it ties into entrepreneurship because, when I played football, it was for one goal and one goal only. And that was to play in the NFL. Right. So, and when that didn't work out, I kind of, was like, back to square one. Like, what do I really do with myself, my life? Football was all I knew, right? So, but fast forward several years, get married, had my first kid, and then boom, got into entrepreneurship. And really, when I got into entrepreneurship, I really didn't know what I was really doing. Right? I just knew I wanted my independence. I knew I wanted to support myself, my family, not have to rely on anyone else. And so I just went in with that mentality, and I kind of figured, hey, I'll figure it out along the way. Which I knew I would because I have the support of God and so forth. But getting into it, it was really just about chasing a dollar, right? Making money. And as I've grown into this journey, it's really developed into much more than that, right? And so it's been more of like a spiritual journey, which is very different from like my football journey in the past, but same kind of goals, right? I want to be the best, absolute best, entrepreneur, CEO, businessman, husband, father I can possibly be at the highest level. So I've kind of like over this past year or so, kind of had some really strong mental shifts, and it's all mindset, really, Easton. I know from owning your own business as well, but yeah. So this past year or so, really kind of had some mental shifts, some mindset shifts, and I kind of feel like now I'm coming into understanding who I am and what I'm trying to do, as I move forward in life. So, but yeah, man, I mean, football has really led me, into a successful, and I say successful because I'm still in it, right? I'm not done by any means, but I know like my old company I worked at closed their doors after COVID, right? I came into this thing with a 50-50 partner. Now I'm solo. So it's like, I know this journey, the road less traveled, is difficult, right? And it's not for everybody. So, that's why I say I've been successful because I'm still in it, right? You only fail if you quit, right? So, yeah, but the football journey and the entrepreneurship journey has really kind of gone hand in hand, and they've both kind of complemented one another. But yeah, this one's much more significant because it's not just me, right? It's not just me trying to go for the Heisman or MVP. It's now I gotta support my children and my wife and and our legacy. So yeah, man. That's kind of how football and entrepreneurship is kind of tied together. But yeah, it, it's all mindset, man, and you get really mentally tough when it comes to football, right? And I played at 9 years old all the way up until with you out there on the field, and it's no joke, man. It's Division 1, right? So you're knocking on the door of the NFL, and you're playing against NFL teammates. We're in the Pac-10, so yeah, football is really setting me up for this entrepreneurship journey.
And what aspects being an ex-athlete has set you up for those successes and during those challenging times? What do you think helped you from being an athlete has transitioned you to business?
Well, I'm a recruiter, right? So I'm a technical recruiter, which means I'm working with people, right? So I don't sell a product. I really just sell, resumes, profiles, kind of the quality of a candidate. So it's a very unique kind of, business. So, but working with, or working with different people, because I work in tech. So I'm working with those that have Indian background, from Asia, or, and English is their second language. And, playing football, you got a team, a team full of, 50, 60 guys, all from different backgrounds, and you have to work as a cohesive unit. So that kind of diverse exposure to different teammates, different backgrounds, different cultures has really set me up nice for, being a recruiter in tech. So that's kind of that aspect of it has really helped, and just the determination and commitment factor. Easton, like I tore my ACL against Arizona State my first year out there. I was a junior, or yeah, redshirt junior. No, true junior, no redshirt yet. And tore my ACL. And dude, I've never really experienced any injury like that,
Mm-hmm.
in my career. Broken finger here and there, but the
Mm-hmm.
ACL, that's a career-ending injury, quote
Most
unquote. Some
likely.
guys don't ever come back, right? So, but we had a few guys that had it and came back. Tardy was one of them, and so I knew that it could be done. So, but that journey, getting back to that, getting back to that, like level, going from can't even walk,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Division One, football running back and can't even walk, to like getting back to, trying to juke dudes on the field. So
Yeah.
that journey right there, like I always tap into that whenever I get
Mhm.
into a time where it's like I'm feeling like, hey, the weight of the world is on my shoulders.
Mhm.
And dude, that was a dark time for me too, because I was out there by myself. I got hurt during Thanksgiving week, and so it was like winter break, so no one was on campus. And then that next week we played in Hawaii, and I was obviously
Oh,
supposed to travel and stuff, but like nobody was home. I think it was just me and Zach and like Shauna. She used to swim, but I was depressed, man. I was hurt. I couldn't move. It was snowing. It was like my first year without my family at Thanksgiving. Like I was taking oxy, codone because of my pain and stuff, and it was a real dark space for me for a minute there. And just coming out of that and then getting back onto the field my redshirt senior year, it kind of just coming full circle. But yeah, that kind of being able to work with such a diverse group, and then also having those hurdles to overcome, man. And that was one of the major ones. But I mean, on a weekly basis, you're overcoming something, right? Whether it's an injury or something personal you're doing, you got to focus on the game, or scout who you're playing. So, but yeah, man, those two aspects I think are have been crucial for my development.
that's huge. No, definitely. Getting back to your business itself, can you just give us a little bit of insight exactly what you do or what your company does?
Yeah, sure. I think about it all the time. Like I live out here in the country, and like everyone works 9 to 5s, and I'm just at the house all the time. I'm like, they probably are thinking, what the hell does this guy do for work? Because
Should
I
we call?
remember, yeah, yeah, seriously. Like I'm like, because I remember seeing dads when I was growing up. Like he was always at practice, or he was always at. Like, what the hell does he do, right? And generally they were like white men, because they were like either
Mhm.
working from home using tech and stuff. So I didn't really didn't know, and how I didn't know this lifestyle, basically, like working from home entrepreneurship. But so getting back to my business and what I do. So yeah, so basically I I'm I guess you can call me like a headhunter, right? So I place engineers at positions at companies, with companies that are hiring, right? And so I focus on the embedded software development. And it sounds really techie, but it's really not. It's basically where the hardware and the software come together, right? And
Mhm.
then like it determines whether or not that device is going to work, right? Like
Oh, okay.
whether it be your phone or Bluetooth or whatever device. And so that embedded developer, he ties the hardware in with the software. He's writing that code
Mhm.
that allows the device to connect and communicate, and so forth. So I picked that area because that's a very important aspect of the technical stack. So those guys have to be, top notch, right? Because the stronger your embedded developer is, the stronger your product. So that's a unique kind of area that I work in. And dude, like originally, I had we were gonna do a brick and mortar. We're gonna like grow a little team to 5 to 7. I was basically gonna replicate the business model that I came from.
Mhm.
But then COVID happened, And so we never got an office. And so we've been 100% remote. And then like, so now it's like, it's been a total like shift. Like now there's no office. Now I got a recruiter in India. I got a business development team out of Europe. And so, and I'm here in Tennessee. So yeah, it's like, it's a different world, right? That I've
Mm.
kind of, entered into. And it's forced me to think differently. And to really get used to being uncomfortable and trying new things and
Mm.
being open to new things. But yeah, I mean, and really, this is an online business, right? And again, I
Mm.
didn't go into it thinking I was going to be an online business, but
Yeah.
with an online business, here the part that like kills everybody is that like you have to build systems and processes because you're online. Everyone's remote. They're going to have a step by step instruction on what to do. Usually it's in our head, the CEO's head. And we're in the office, I can just tell you on a daily, hey, go do this. Hey, go do that. Hey, call these guys. Hey, follow up with these guys. But when you're remote, you don't have that real time communication. Okay. So you have to install systems. Now, it takes time to install systems. It's like you're building a house, right? You want to
Mm.
build a strong foundation with your systems, but once they are built, and then you can train, now you don't have to really monitor it because now you've trained someone to kind of oversee that
It's
machine.
already in place. Yes.
Right. So, but it takes time to build these machines. And I'm a one man shop. I got 4 kids. I'm not going to like lose my time with my kids to like hurry up and build this company. This is already built. It's going to, I'm okay. Like I got even another business venture that I'm into right now. Like I'm good and I'm okay. I feel like I have the ability to fast forward or slow down or stop the whole thing. So I'm in a real good spot, man. But you know, I didn't discover this information, but I paid to work with coaches and experts in my field because, tech had a layoff in 2022, 2023. So my industry was like basically a market crash, right? Nobody was hiring. And it really forced me to rethink how I was going to feed myself because I didn't have a lead generation process. I'm not a sales guy. So I wasn't out there like calling and selling myself. And I'm still not a sales guy. So yeah, the last couple of years has really forced me to kind of get outside of my comfort zone. But long story short, I know I'm rambling here, but yeah, that's what we do. We fill embedded software development positions, and that's just one area. That's a niche. And here's another thing, Easton, I have to say is when you do go into business today, there's a lot of businesses, there's a lot of noise out there. In order to cut through the noise, you have to niche down, you have to specialize in a specific area. Like, I can use working out for an example. If I was going to go into like fitness training, this is just an example. I'm not saying I would do this, but if I was going to niche down, right, pick a specialty, I would be like just focusing on arms or something, right?
Mhm.
I'd be a trainer that only worked on arms, right? And so there's just so much noise that when you become a specialist and you solve this one problem, now you only know who your one client is. So it takes all the guessing work out of it, because that's another thing about entrepreneurship and being a recruiter is we're really good at like multitasking and doing a lot of shit, but a
Mhm.
lot of that stuff doesn't move the needle and like actually make or generate any positive. It's just like busy work, right? So we
Yeah.
get caught up
Doing
in
it to
that,
just do it. Yeah.
and we get caught up in that, and then we just stay where, and that's what happens when you get on the hamster wheel. That's where I
Mm.
was the first 3 years, and like I
Mm.
said, like the tech crash was a blessing in disguise because it allowed me to it was almost like Tiger Woods had to reconstruct his entire swing when he was older after surgery, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of where I was at. So
Mhm.
so yeah, it was a blessing in disguise, but there are some basic principles that I had to be put up on, right? And I paid
Mm.
to work with some consultants and stuff, and the information that I've gotten, I feel like now I can go and build $1 billion company if that's what I
Mhm.
wanted to do, right? So
Mhm.
now I'm in a great position where now I get to choose, okay, how do I want to design my life? How do I want my world to look, right? And I have
Mhm.
that ability, if I can build these, profitable business assets, right? It's all about cash flow, right? So you need
Mhm.
positive cash flow. I don't care if it's through real estate. I don't care if it's $50 a month or $1,000 a month. You need cash flow.
Yeah.
If you can have positive cash flow, then you can either replicate that or turn that. And here's the thing too, Lisa, is I got into it chasing money, not knowing that money isn't something that you can actually have and like save. Money is to be used to make more of it. Money is energy.
Yeah.
It's really spiritual more than anything, man.
Mm.
And so, and that's another mindset that you have to get into, because I was playing that W-2 life, right?
Mm.
I was still,
Yeah.
living like I had to pay my bills on time. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I make money differently. I don't get paid every two
Mm.
weeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might get a $70,000 check, but it might not come in 60 days or whatever. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So it's a different game that you have to play. And so I've been learning, I've been studying, I've been a student, and so now I feel like I have like all the pieces, like, to the puzzle, and now I just have to put them in place. And it's going to take time. It's, you reap what you sow, man. That's in the Bible, right? And I'm not trying to say I'm like, 100%, on the Bible or anything, but
Mm.
you reap what you sow, man. You get what you put in, right? And
Mm.
so a lot of people don't want to put in that hard grind for 3-6 months and not make any money. No, but I know that if I do that, on the other end, I'm gonna be able to sit back and relax, right?
Yeah.
Because it's all set up. And so now I just have to oversee and manage. So yeah, man. That's kind of what my business does and how it looks and how it operates as an online business. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Did that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. Like I said, the more gyms, the better. Honestly, man, the
Yeah,
knowledge you have and is in passing is what we want.
yeah,
You did bring up earlier about having your first child and really motivating you and inspiring you to pursue this career. What was it that made the switch for you just to pursue this career in tech recruiting?
man. It was time, man. Like, time is another one. Like, time is really an illusion, right? We think we are this, identity from the past 36 years, but really those 36 years we can never go back, and we can
Hmm.
never get back, and so it doesn't exist. And
Hmm.
that future 36 years doesn't exist. The only time that exists is right now. So,
Hmm.
but dude, that first year of my first daughter's life flew by. She
Hmm.
turned one, and I'm like, I was at the office for 8 hours a day. My wife was at the office for 8 hours a day. We had like an hour commute each. And
Oh
so,
wow.
like, I only got like 2 hours in the evening with my daughter,
Hmm.
maybe an hour in the morning or something, but like, it wasn't enough. And so
Yeah.
that, like, really kind of, hey, time's moving too fast. How do I slow this thing down? I got
Hmm.
really good at my day job that I was able to do it like before lunchtime. Like, by lunch, I was like, hey, okay, I'm good. But my boss was old school. Did It wasn't COVID yet, so the remote working, like mass remote working,
Okay.
wasn't in. So I took it upon myself, and I was like, I'm gonna just do what I'm doing now. I'm gonna do it at home, so
Hmm.
I could be, more available to my family. And so that's what really, kickstarted me, was that first year. The time just flew by, man, and I got scared. I was like, whoa,
Hmm.
this is too fast. I got to slow it
Yeah.
down. And so then and then Easton, I was living in San Jose, California. COVID
Hmm.
hit. Me and my wife were like, well, we're both working remote because her company sent her home. And then we moved to the country in Tennessee, and we slowed it down even more, because out here they moved like, it was like we went backwards 20 years, right? Like,
Yeah, for
I've
sure.
never had to write more checks in my life than, like, for my bills. Moving out here in Tennessee, like, nobody does online. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
so it was like a double. It was like a double whammy. Like, I slowed it down from working from home, and then my wife was able to quit her job, so she was at home, and then we're like in a slow country town. So it's just been, and now we got 4 kids. So that tells you how freaking slow it is out here. But yeah, man,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
loving it. We're loving every second of it. But yeah, it's been awesome.
That's awesome, dude. And congratulations, man. And just
Yeah,
from what I
thanks.
know of you from the past, man, like you've always had that grind mentality and just wanting more for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You were always genuine and you always like having a good time. You were just a good person overall. And that's why I had to have you
Yeah,
on.
Easton, I'd say the same for you, man. My wife asked, she's like, "So who's Easton?" I was like, "Oh, I played with him in college." And dude, I'll never forget you out there lining up as a free safety with like number 81. Remember? Because we were down safeties and stuff. Dude, you were the only safety in the Pac-10 wearing number like 81 or something, right? Yeah, out there leading the game in tackles. Remember?
Would not let me switch the jersey at all. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah. Dude, I'll never forget that. That was savage, bro. But yeah, 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 dude. Yeah. Thanks for that. Thanks for that love, man. I say that back to you as well, man.
I appreciate that a lot. So obviously you have a lot going on. You're married. You have 4 kids. You're running a business. What does a typical day look like for you? I'm sure it varies, but can you give
Yeah.
like the audience kind of an idea of what a typical day looks like for you?
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what, man. When we had our first kid, or actually when COVID hit, we both went remote, and we had our second kid, and moved to Tennessee. Like, dude, I did not have a schedule, right? We did not have a schedule. We were just kind of like, there was stuff that I had to do on a daily basis, but I wasn't really working towards anything. I was just working in my job, right? I wasn't working on my business. I was like working for my business. I was an employee of myself. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a schedule up until like I just turned 36 in February, and then something clicked, right? Like, those, they want to call them midlife crisis or something, but I had like an awakening. I had like an awakening, like, okay, it's time to really kick it into gear, buddy. What are we doing here? And so since then, man, I went like cold turkey, and I wake up at 5 a.m. to work out. I tapped into those workouts that we used to do back
Oh yeah.
in college, right? In the summer, during the summer, I was doing those 5 a.m. workouts.
Mhm.
Remember, we had different slots. We had like 5:30,
Yeah.
6:37, and then 8 and 9 and stuff. I was in the first one every time because I just enjoyed getting it out the way.
Mhm.
But I hadn't done that since college. So
Mhm.
it was tough getting back into that. But dude, I
Mhm.
found getting my morning, because my kids are up early, like 6,
Mhm.
6:30. So it's hard for me to get like an hour to myself.
Yeah.
So I said, enough's enough. Excuses are like, assholes. Everyone's got them and they all stink. What is it going to take for you to get your shit together? So I just started doing it. And so I've been waking up every morning at 5 a.m. and I work out. Right now I work out, and I've added a Kundalini yoga the last like 2-3 weeks. And listen, I've never done no yoga. I've never even been like super flexible. I've never done no Kundalini, nothing. But I'm telling you, I've been in a different space. The last couple of years, I've been on an extremely blessed journey, and this is where it's led me to. And I can feel the difference inside of me, right? And it just makes a world of a difference. I feel like now I can do anything because I start my
Mhm.
day off like good. No matter what happens, I had a good day because I
Yeah.
fucking worked out,
Yeah. You
right? And I
started.
and, you know and I took care of myself first. So no matter what happens throughout the day, and I still get tired and I still get frustrated, so I still have some other tools that I use. I use cold showers too, Easton.
Mhm.
Right? I took one right before our call. Right? It's
Mhm.
9:30 my time. I'm in bed in about 30 minutes. So I took a cold shower to wake my ass up. I do that in the middle of the day. So I do cold showers, but yeah, I start real early. Get myself together first. I don't get on my phone. I don't check my email till at least 2 hours after. I like to journal or meditate after my workout, between my cold shower.
Mhm.
Here's another thing too, Easton, is like I don't like to strict myself, right? I like to mix it up a little bit, because when
Mhm.
you kind of put yourself in a box, it's hard to like, now you can't deviate from the plan. Sometimes I do yoga first.
Yeah.
Sometimes I work
Especially
out
something
first.
changed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
if something changes, or I sleep. A kid wakes up and I'm sleeping with them, so now I'm up a little later. It's okay. Like you just do the best you can with what at that very moment. But yeah, I like to start out my day taking care of myself first. And then Easton, I have like three things that I have to do that move the needle forward, which
Mhm.
means all those email responses and phone calls are gonna happen no matter what, because
Yeah.
that's the business. But there are three things that I have to take care of that's going to help build the entire business overall, that eventually allow me to step away from it, right? And I'll be able to load it off. So that's what's important, is every day doing a little bit at a time.
Mhm.
And that comes from that one book, Atomic Habits. I don't know. Let me see
Oh,
if I got
okay.
it.
I own that, but yeah, I got that book here somewhere.
Okay, so yeah, so this dude, he was an athlete, right?
Mhm.
And so really, what I got from this is like, everyone tries to do a New Year's resolution and start working out, 5 days a week, when they haven't worked out in 5 years, and they don't last. It's because
Mhm.
they're putting too much on themselves, right? Start with
Mhm.
15 minutes a day for 3 days a week or something,
Yeah.
right? Start with and then that 15 minutes a day turns into 30, right? You'll you'll
Mhm.
you'll just you just pick up some momentum, and that's kind
Mhm.
of what it's all about, right? Is keep stacking good days on top of each other, and eventually you'll look back and be like, oh shit, look what I just built. And it didn't
Mhm.
even feel like that, but taking little steps every day, it adds up, man. That energy compounds over time. And it goes to it doesn't even matter. That applies to like life. My wife homeschools the kids, right? So every day it's 15 minutes at least, and over time it's like, they're reading better than some of the kids that are older than them or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And that's all it is. But I say that because like I don't have weekends, right? I don't really work for the weekend right now. I used to work Monday to Friday to party on the weekends, but I don't even want to take a day off because I'm building right now, man. Like,
Yeah.
so every day is a day for me to get better. If I don't, then I'm just staying the same, which is I'm taking a step back. So
Hmm.
every day I have to get better. And it's myself first. Got to fill your cup up first before you can fill anyone else's. So I fill mine up first, and then I make sure my family is good. Okay, and I got to take care of these three things no matter what. And so I block off, right? No phones on silent. Kids, doors locked, right? Because I work here in the home, but doors locked, and only in emergency if I'm getting bothered. But yeah, man, that's
Hmm.
kind of the focus it kind of takes, and the schedule, and just it's just a commitment, man. And you gotta want it, bro. You gotta
Hmm.
want it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So it seems like, yeah, from your schedule, from what you said, you're definitely a busy person. So besides like the working out, do you give yourself time to like unwind, like some quiet time or anything like that, or anything like that?
Yeah, man. So I do get some quiet time. Really right now, since I get my time in the morning, I really don't have to force myself to like, hey, Jenny, I need an hour to myself or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, right? But there are some times where, the days stack up, the weeks get long, and dude, I have to go outside and, and partake in a little plant medicine. And I use, Mary Jane as my medication. Right. And so, and what that does, and I have an interesting relationship with, marijuana, man. I mean, I never part as like in high school and college.
Mm-hmm.
After college, I started drinking. I never high school stuff. So I did after college, and then COVID hit, and they shut everything down. They shut churches down. They shut the fucking everything down. But the fucking alcohol and and the weed dispensaries were still open,
Yeah.
and they were delivering. They were delivering, Easton,
Oh,
and I'm in
wow.
California. So then I got hooked on those THC pens, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but at that time, it was like an escape for me, right? I was using that for an escape, and I didn't even know it at the time. But
Mm-hmm.
that habit picked up a lot of momentum because COVID happened, and that was a weird time for me. So yeah, so I got hooked, on those pens, and then I move out to Tennessee, and then I get into the natural, Mary Jane, the plant, and that had a different effect on me. Also because it hit me at a different time in my life as well, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I had boys that used it to get high and party and stuff like, but for me, it's like it's medication. It's just like meditation. It's just like working out. It's another tool that I have that allows me to like, when the weight of the world is on my shoulders, or if there's something I'm trying to figure out and I'm like kind of stuck, which route do I want to go? How do I want this to look? I'll go out there and I'll medicate, man, and then like an hour will go by and I'm like, that's right. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll take out this black book and then I'll write it down, and then that's what we're gonna do, man. So yeah, it's been but yeah, that's something that I use to unwind on heavy days. But when I start my day off right, it's very rare that I need to like separate myself and stuff. So, but that comes from taking care of yourself first, man. And
Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough as a parent because you want to take care of your children. Your children are crying and stuff or whatever. You want to take care of them first, but like sometimes it's like, dude, I tell my wife, go. I'll take care of them. They'll be okay. Go take care of
Mm-hmm.
yourself because you get frustrated, and that energy does not help anything, right? And then you let that out on them, and then it's not a good exchange, and then it has a domino effect. And so yeah, so instead of letting myself get there, man, I like to do anything I need possible to make sure I stay at a level-headed space.
Definitely. So obviously, I know your children are a source of motivation for you. Excuse me. How does it inspire your work or drive your ambitions for your work?
Well, I'll tell you this, Easton. Grocery bills have skyrocketed. Okay, we got 4 kids. So no, yeah, that's my
Make sure you
inspiration.
bill real quick.
Dude, the boy is only 3, man. He has a stool in the pantry. He's just, we kind of let him be, man. So like I was raised kind of tough, right? Very strict, right? Growing up, and we kind of want to switch it up, and we're looking at each other like, well, this is what we signed up for. They're kind of free spirits and do their thing and stuff. But no, inspiration wise. So I'll tell you real quick, Easton. And you have a son, is that right?
2 boys.
Okay. So I had my first daughter, and that changes really. You look at women a lot different when you have your first daughter, right? So now, like, I'm looking at women, and I'm like, I want to make sure you're okay, like emotionally, bro. Like it's weird, right? Like, it really changed for me. But when I had my son, it was even more impactful because I realized quickly that these kids, especially in that first 7 years, they're sponges. They only mimic what they see, right? So we had the TV on a lot. The TV hasn't been on in months. And when we do put it on, we got like Spanish, we got Bluey and Espanol or something, right? Like we don't do TV no more. No iPads, no nothing like that. But in the beginning, when we didn't have a schedule, we were kind of just out here trying to figure it out. They were on, it was whatever to get them quiet and sit in front of the TV as long as we can. So me and Jenny knew that couldn't last, but having my son, knowing that he was a copycat of whatever he was going to see, I put the bottle down, right? So like I was drinking. I'm like, wait, he's going to see me drinking and he's going to drink, right? Why am I drinking? I remember seeing my dad drinking an MGD on the couch watching the game, and here I am doing the same. I don't even like beer. What are we doing? So, and it was a transition. I started pouring it into plastic cups at first, right? So now he didn't see a bottle. Maybe he just thought I was drinking water, but still, I was like sneaking in stuff, and then like I was like, there's no hiding it from him. These guys are smart. And so, and then the alcohol versus the plant medicine, like with Mary Jane, the difference is like night and day. Alcohol's a downer, right? Alcohol like brings me down. Like I get angry, I can feel it.
Yeah.
Whereas that's why they say getting high, right? It takes you to a higher level of kind of perspective. But so knowing that he was looking at my every move, man, it really made me like tighten up. Really tighten up, right? So now, he sees me working out. Sometimes he'll wake up early. He'll come out to the garage and he'll just sit in there and watch me working out, or I'll be in like a meditation stance, Satnam, like some crazy stuff, right? And so he's seeing that, which I never seen in my dad, but, it's just kind of showing him something new, right? And just trying to do my best to give him, what I consider the best, right? And I had a good childhood, man. Like, my parents are great, and they're still there for me and supporting me 100%. But still, as a parent, like I said, I want to be the absolute best I can possibly be. And so that's what I'm gonna do. And so yeah, man. But having my first son, that's what like really inspired me to really get my stuff together. It's been a blessing because we've just kind of piggybacked off that. And my wife, she's done the same, right? She knows that the girls are picking up on her habits. So, instead of her yelling at me and getting upset at me, she knows that like, they're going to yell at me as well. So she tries to, watch herself. Although I got like, they're all, I got the youngest is 1, I got a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old or 5-year-old and my wife. But that's 4 girls, man. And they're all yelling at me right now. So it's a lost battle for me.
For real. You ain't winning any of those.
Nah.
One thing that, one thing that stood out to me when I sent over the questionnaire is that something we both have in common is that the whole coincidence versus law of attraction. I am a firm believer of the law of attraction, but can you give your insight on why you believe that and how it plays a role in your life and your career?
Sure. Let me just do this first, okay? So this is a vision board, all right? I got it on my back screen on my phone. On there in the corner is me on a podcast, okay?
Oh, wow.
The top one, there's another one, and then there's YouTube. So and this has been like less than 30 days, but after I did this, I've been on 3 podcasts. And I had there was nothing that I intended. It's not like I reached out to you, Easton. I didn't even know you had something going.
Yeah.
But I got hit up for podcasts, and this is my second one. I have another one that's on my computer screen, and all of those things. I got me working on the beach, and like we have a vacation like planned, like to the beach coming up, and I have financial freedom on there, right? Like just the words financial freedom and the money tree, and I've like I've created like I've looked for financial freedom, and I've found it, right? Understanding that it's not like an actual number. It's not something that you can have. It's something that you either are, right? You either believe that you are, or you are not. And so I believe that I am, I have 100% wealth and health, and the blessings of God here. And life is supposed to be lived abundantly. And it is, if you look for abundance. And so yeah, man, like, so it's not just like, woohoo stuff. And listen, I've been on this journey for a couple of years. I got first introduced to like the whole law of attraction, the power of the mind through Joe Dispenza. Okay. So he's like a neurosurgeon doctor. Have you heard of him?
I have not, no.
So he's like a neurosurgeon doctor. He's like a big meditation, but he calls it breaking the habit of yourself. And it's basically, Easton, like you have to separate from the identity, right? Once you understand like who you are and what you are and how you operate as a human being, this is a machine, man. You're inside of a vessel, and it all operates the same, man. And I work in tech, and they have operating systems and drivers and all of that same stuff. It's a mimic of us. Technology is a mimic of us, right? We are organic technology, and technology is artificial tech. It's like that's AI, really. But so yeah. So when I say law of attraction, it goes deep, man. But really. And what's really one of the tricks with law of attraction, not tricks, but it's kind of, this is what catches people up. Because I don't know if you know that movie, The Secret. Have you ever seen The Secret?
Oh, yeah, I have the book, and yeah.
So my wife used The Secret to get me when we were dating. Okay, so that's another story. But so yeah, The Secret kind of is like the introduction. That's like kind of the entry level. And it's not really just about thinking of the things that you want and like kind of acting like you have them. It's about becoming the person you want to be, right? So like, so for example, if I want to be a millionaire, I have to act and be a millionaire first before I can actually see the physical representation in real life, right? So it's like you're calling your future to yourself by being that person, right? And so you have to, but the key is to like have all of this aligned. Your thoughts have to be positive. You have to have love in your heart, and you have to like that, like those are the two like, frequencies you have to be on: love, gratitude. And the more you can be there, the more positive, attraction you'll have, right? And so the law of attraction is like gravity. It doesn't stop, right? It's never not working. It's always working. So when I figured, when it clicked for me, I'm like, so me getting upset isn't gonna actually make anything better. It's gonna make things worse. So now instead of me getting upset, I just go within and I just get quiet. And Penny will look at me. She's like, "Why aren't you saying anything?" I'll just look at her and she'll know, like, if I say something, it's gonna be bad and it's not gonna be good. So I'd rather be quiet. So that's taking time to get right. And so it's work, man. You have to, and it's not something that you can just kind of think about. I've done some internal generational trauma release, some inner child work, some like soul purpose work, bro. Like I've went deep inside to like really ask some deep questions and listen to that mind, to that voice inside, right? Because that's God. Like that, where does that voice come from, right? Like where do those thoughts come from? It comes from the ether, but that's what we're living within, man. And so, but those thoughts you attract depend on how you're feeling, how you're acting. And so, yeah, man, that's kind of, and again, that's not really organized, bro. I'm still a student of the information. But that's kind of the concept and the essence of it, man, is like, you have to become what that best version of yourself. You have to become it first. You can't wait for the money to feel rich. You have to feel rich. Yeah. So that's it, man. And on top of that, I think you mentioned synchronicities and coincidences, right? So like, yeah, my mom came to visit about a month and a half ago, and that's when the synchronicities were like just going crazy to the point of like every day something would like I'd speak about something in the morning, and then afternoon like something would happen that had that same exact phrase, which is a phrase that I don't say often or wouldn't ever say. Like, you know what I mean? Just like stuff
definitely.
you can't really really
Relate
believe.
or-
Like I almost got struck by a lightning bolt a couple of days ago, Easton.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And so like, but that's a near death experience, and it's a part of the Kundalini awakening, bro. Like I read that on my Facebook group because it's a Facebook group that I'm in, and it's like a practice every week or every day. And that day was like, hey, say this mantra, and it was like, here are the signs that your Kundalini is awakening or rising. And one of them was near death experiences, and I just read in the morning. It didn't really stick to me. I was like, that's fucking weird. What? I didn't even have no.
Sure.
I don't even leave the house. I don't even leave the house. So that day it started pouring rain. It was a storm, and I love storms. And so I'm in the outside garage, just me and the dog, and I'm by the window, and I'm on my phone, and I'm posting something on Facebook, and then a lightning bolt just struck like right outside the window, like 2-3 feet. I jumped, the garage jumped. Me and the dog jumped. Like I've never been that scared in a long time. And I'm like looking outside, seeing if anything else is going to hit me. Like, and I come inside and I read, and I go back to my daily, because it was the end of the night. I was going to go back to my work, and I read it, and it said near death experiences. And I was like, oh shit, I just read this morning and this happened. So it sounds fucking stupid, but like like, dude, that's the kind of shit that's been happening with me. And so yeah, man, it's an interesting time for me right now, but I'm loving it.
Yeah, no, honestly, man, and I wish you nothing but the best. Like I love what's happening with you and everything that's going right for you, man. And that's why I had to have you on here too, is, you're a genuine person. You speak truth, you're not going to sit here and put some sales speech on and say what everybody wants to hear. You got to tell your truth and, give us tons of knowledge that I think a lot of people will attract to.
Yeah. And that's important. That's important. Easton, you just mentioned truth, and the truth, that's saying the truth shall set you free. And that's true. But you can't speak your truth until you know who you are, right? And like you have to let go of the ego, because I was scared to really speak my truth because of judgment from others, right? From like my parents, my friends, and stuff. And I'm not saying they're judgy people, but like that was just the fears inside of me, and that was because of how I was raised, and society really telling us how we should look and how we should be and how we should act and what's weird and what's normal. All that shit is just like is made up construct, right? There is no normal. We're all, every one of us is a unique, expression of our own self, right? That's it. We're all different. That's normal. But yeah, man. So the truth is important, but it's scary to tell your truth until you figure out, understand who you are.
Like I said, I appreciate everything you've given us during this time, man. Like I know it's late where you're at. Just real quick, is there a way that listeners can connect with you or learn about your work and what you do?
Yeah, I'm just on LinkedIn. You see my name right there, but the only one on LinkedIn with the name Chantz like that. But I'm on LinkedIn right now. But dude, eventually I'll have the YouTube up. I got plans on writing a book, like the whole enchilada. Like I'm going all the way with it. I have to. There's only one way to go, and it's all the way in. But for now, I'm just on LinkedIn. I mean, I'm on Facebook and Instagram too, but not super active, bro. And that's another thing, is you got to stay focused. And the social media, man, oh man, it's one of the biggest distractions.
It's always been one of my weak points, man. It's
everyone's.
Stay engaged, It's
everyone's, man. It's everyone's. Yeah, it's a balance, man. You gotta have a good balance.
Definitely. Is there anything else you would like to, any gems or knowledge that you would like to give to anybody, or any information that I may have missed during this podcast?
No, man. I think I said the one where you reap what you sow. Another one I'd say, man, is like an old catchphrase. Sounds cliche, but you it's better to give than receive, right? And depending on how you can give from a selfishness, right, with nothing in return, man, that's going to pay dividends back to you, right? So I know it's cliche, but it's better to give than to receive. But know that once you do give, it comes back tenfold for you. So yeah, man, that's what I leave your viewers with.
Definitely, man. And I appreciate it again, man. You're a great dude, and everybody who's listening, check Chantz out. He's doing great things. He's going to continue to do great things. Do you have any upcoming projects or anything you want to talk about, or anything else that you may be working on? Or?
No, man, no. I'm into one project right now, but it's too early. Yeah. That's another thing too. When you get into these new projects, you got to keep your stuff like in-house first, because
definitely,
once you let it out and those critics come in, it makes it more difficult. So, but yeah, no, not right now. I'm gonna keep everything on the wraps until I'm ready to present.
Definitely, man. Not a problem at all. Well, I wish you nothing but the best, man. You're a great person, and it shows, man. And I think the viewers and the listeners will understand that when they hear this, man. You show and sound very genuine, and it just shows, man. It comes with the success that you've had in your life, man.
Yeah, man. I was excited to get on with you, man. I appreciate you reaching out too as well. And yeah, I hope people could feel, and again, like I told you, I don't want to waste anyone's time. If I'm going to speak, man, I'm going to speak my 100% truth and try to help as many as I possibly can, as best as I can. That's it. That's the work.
That's why I wanted you on here, man.
Yeah, right on, buddy.
I know all about it. And like I said, it's all about promoting you and what you do, man. And you're a great dude, and you deserve all the great things, man. So
thanks, bro.
Thank you for joining the podcast.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to have you on again sometime, man. We could chop it up about football, whatever you want, man. Or once you get to that new venture and you want to talk about it, we can definitely do that too. So
hell yeah, we'll have to set the next one up in person or something, man.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
man.
that'd be cool. Yeah.
Studio, yeah.
No, we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out. Yeah,
for sure, man. Well, it's nice talking to you, and you have a good rest of your night, brother.
All right, buddy. You too. Thanks, man.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hustler's Handbook podcast. I hope you found today's episode as inspiring and insightful as I did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow hustlers. Keep pushing, keep striving, and remember, the hustle never stops. See you next time.